Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 185 of your favorite show, Keeping It Real. I'm your host, jackkadis, and I apologize for my lack of shirt. Let me throw that on very fast. In today's episode, we'll get into some stuff. We'll say a little bit of this, a little bit of that. A bit of a special episode because we're here in Colorado. Pretty cool, I'd say. Let's see if I can prop this camera up somehow with maybe its own charger. That'd be pretty nice. If it's like that, no, I don't know. Maybe this right here. Let's see where that's facing. Okay. We can bring it a bit closer also as well. How's this? Looks good. I think I'm right in frame. Should autofocus. I'll set a timer so I know when the 30 minutes is up and I have to start a new recording. And I'll grab my laptop and anything else I could need. Maybe my book. Because I've been reading my book, and I've been really enjoying it. So maybe I'll tell you about what's going on inside the book. Hope the audio's okay. Might not be, but that's just because, we're using this sort of camera. Let's see how much time's left. So we've been recording for 2 minutes, just over, so I'll set a timer for 26 minutes. 7. Okay. And when that timer goes off, we know it's time to hit stop and start for the next 30 minutes. But yeah, this is 185 of Keeping It Real. I'm your host, jackkadis. It might be beneficial actually to grab my marker too, because I need thumbnails for the 3 of these episodes. But yeah, now I have everything I should need. First, I'll tell you what's happening in my book. So I broke a record recently for most pages read in a day. I started reading this book and I did 1 page a day, and I thought that was really good. I kept to it. I missed 1 or 2 days, but I got right back, and it's a really interesting story. I just hit a part that really interests me. He's teaching his class, and there's this girl that's really pretty and does really well in the class, and he eventually ends up dating her, and so I was kind of like glued to the pages. Yeah, so, and then, well, that's where I'm at. Well, maybe I'll read to the current page that I'm on, and then we can put the book to rest, because then that's my page for today. I'll count it off with Keeping It Real. Speed and everyone bowed to me as I crossed the finish line first. Everyone agreed that skinny guy, Gaijin, was very fast. I was picking up the language, slowly. I knew the Japanese word for shoe, gutsu. I knew the Japanese word for revenue, shunyu. I knew how to ask the time and directions, and I learned a phrase I use often. Watakushi domo no kashai nai tsi no job ho desu. There is some information about my company. Here is some information about my company. That's what that phrase means. Toward the end of the picnic, I sat on the sand and looked out across the Pacific Ocean. I was living 2 separate lives, both wonderful, both merging. Back home, I was part of a team, me and Waddell and Johnson, and now Penny. Here in Japan, I was part of a team, a loner, but since childhood, I thrived in team sports. All good people, by nature, I was a loner, but since childhood, my psyche was in true harmony when I had a mix of alone time and team time, exactly what I had now. Also, I was doing business with a country I'd come to love. Gone was the initial fear. I connected with the shyness of the Japanese people, with the simplicity of their culture and products and arts. I liked that they tried to add beauty to every part of life, from the tea ceremony to the commode. I liked that the radio announced each day exactly which cherry trees on which corner were blossoming and how much. My reverie was interrupted when a man named Fujimoto sat beside me. 50-ish, slouch-shouldered. He had a gloomy air that seemed more than middle-aged melancholy. Like a Japanese, Charlie Brown, and yet I I could see that he was making a concerted effort to extend himself, to be cheerful towards me. He forced a big smile and told me that he loved America and that he longed to live there. I told him that I'd just been thinking how much I loved Japan. Maybe we should trade places, I said. He smiled ruefully. Anytime. I complimented his English. He said he learned it from the American GIs. Alright, that's one page. What do you think of my reading? Am I good at reading? I don't know. Oh. Now let's open up the budget. No, that's for the end of the day. We'll rock with that at the end of the day. But we can open this up and write to 3 thumbnails, 84, 85, and 86 of KIR. All need thumbnails. So we'll try and tear off 3 pages as evenly as we can. Or we could just do them, but I'm just worried that it's going to bleed through, so we'll probably have to tear them out. Well, I could, if I'm worried about a bleed through, I could always because it'd just be nice to keep them, where they won't fall out. So this first one, I don't need to worry about that because it's the last page in the book. KIR will do 184 first. Wow, that felt really great. It's been a while since I did that. Let's take it a bit further. Beautiful.
Alright, 10 minutes. You ready? Almost going downtown, it's almost going fishing.
Okay.
I feel like we need to get doing the whole group
Now maybe if I roll this up, we'll do a picture first.
Jack,
What's up?
group meeting in 15 minutes while we figure out the rest of the day.
I'm live on Keeping It Real.
Okay. Hi, keeping it real.
I don't know what I'm going to do about that.
What?
I got 45 minutes left.
Oh. Okay.
I think I can just leave the camera here.
Yeah. I think that would be funny. If you just had the last maybe 20, 30 minutes or so, just nothing, that would be funny.
Can you just be my representative?
Well, we gotta all meet to figure out what we're doing with the rest of the day. So.
I trust you with my being.
Okay. So you're okay with me choosing your decision?
Very much.
Okay. Well,
Please know that after this 45 minutes, I have another 30 minutes of work.
well, we're trying to leave.
Well, if there's a group that doesn't, both groups are leaving.
I think so.
I have to finish this.
Okay.
Um.
I'll get back to you.
Okay. Here comes episode 185. Take a picture of that. I feel really shaky and weak right now. It's hard to explain. I don't know. I think it's maybe a mix of it's a mix of a lot of things, right? I think it's I'm not working. And I think working was so important to me because it was the same muscle movements every day. And without it, I feel shaky and fragile. But also, of course, the shaky and fragileness, I'm on this crazy road trip where you know, there's a lot happening all the time, and I don't know, it's just a lot. I just feel very weak. Keeping it real, one. And we're done. Well, we're not actually done. We just have taken a picture of all the thumbnails, that's all we've done. I could, you know, upload them to my computer. I could go ahead and do that. I think I will, because I have to upload 2 Instagram Reels anyway. Text message. It's okay, don't need to pay attention. Create, post, small window. It's the 29th, so that means...
Never put all your eggs in the one basket.
There's one.
I feel like if we're doing everything like a slow today. What? If you are saying that today's the last time, it's not. We'll see. I don't want to give you a finance. I've already got it. I'll post it. Do you care about the goal? Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, would you don't want to? I don't know. That's the best way to stop. Because if you do it wrong, but you're not real one, but when they it's like they're probably
Dang, Mom, that was fast. He posted those Instagram Reels and Mom liked it, one of them instantly. She must be hanging out on Instagram.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's kind of, yeah. I think that would be the best way.
Weed is gonna be hard.
Focus. Okay. Social media really sucks you in.
That's really good.
I will go ahead and reply to these comments just because Griffin tells me to.
But the methods are like also like kind of corny, like sometimes. If I'm real, like I'm not gonna do all that. But like you probably should. It's one of those things where it's like it would definitely be beneficial.
I want to
Instagram's done.
That's what I was gonna say. I went through a long period of this second. Like, it was the first time I've ever been honest.
Okay, I've got to lock in. It's so crucial that I lock in right now. Public. So tomorrow's 184. So immediately I need to do the thumbnails, and then this is. So I'm good. I'm actually good. What I can do really fast before the thumbnails is actually finish up my drafts. These need to start at July. This is gonna be a lot of clicking. July 3rd. I think these went all the way to 12. I think these went to 1 a.m.
Outside with no like stimulation, you're forced to be like, what am I gonna do after this?
Then that's July 4th.
I want to start doing that too. Usually, I've noticed that almost like exactly 2 years. Some days it's worse than others.
Oh, and I'm supposed to be doing titles as well. I can do that. I can switch to titles. Lots of clicking, but it should make me feel better. Doing this should make me feel better. These guys are having a very interesting conversation in the next room. This microphone probably isn't picking it up. I hope it's not, because it's, they don't know they're being recorded if it is, but they're talking about stress and such, and it's just, this group of guys is really a beautiful group of guys, because we're all so honest and open with each other. At least it seems to me. Like, everyone's so willing to talk about, like, their struggles and their triumphs and like what makes them who they are, and I think that's it calls for like a really fantastic dynamic of a bunch of guys that like no one's trying to outman anybody, and everyone's just trying to like we make a very good team, especially when we're on the road. I wonder if anyone brought nail clippers, because I like to clip my toenails. It's hard to get back in the swing of adding titles. I keep on just clicking. Why you gotta go and make things so complicated?
I feel like it's good to start your day. If you start your day, your day is simply rounded, like you wake up, think waking up is most important because that sets the tone for the day. Literally, don't be baseline. That is the most important idea that I can thought. Like, at all. I guess a habit is kind of like that.
Oh my god, I keep on.
Okay, I'm gonna start my day with this and this and this. Now I'm getting in the flow. You're in a productive flow. And you're like natural, like whatever you're like doing a routine. And you're thinking kind of, like you're not being distracted. You're just kind of doing it. You're kind of thinking, okay, I'm gonna do this, this, this. I guess I'll eat and I'll work on this.
Honestly, you should do that thing.
Dude, this is so tricky because I'm so used to now not doing it that it's like, it's so instinctual to just skip the part where you title it the short. But I need to. Like, the results are conclusive. I stopped titling the shorts, and the views went down.
It's not optimized routine, I guess, but it's like easier.
Well, also, you're not on your phone. You wake up. Normally, if you wake up and you get on your phone, you know, then run through another kind of. If you're on your phone long enough to where you're like, come on. And then like that, you're not getting the option. Literally, don't be based. I don't remember fitness or not.
I've actually, because of,
Also, my right bicep is super sore. Like 2 days ago, I did a bunch of push-ups, like 10. And then after that, I didn't even do much. I don't know why it's so.
that's another thing I really like about working with this is I think starting like a socializing. Socializing as well. I start my day, it's one thing I absolutely I feel like because like servers your job is falling into this servers
Yeah.
Dude,
You're like fully in conversation about the entire day, or like in conversation also.
okay, almost done. 2 more. August. That's a mistake.
Yeah, it's probably good.
I think it's also why servers like so much. That makes sense.
We talk to each other all the time. We don't really not much, but actually,
Everybody else on it's really only her.
All right, that's that done. So now we can go to background remover. And Canva, I will email these 3 thumbnails that I just took to myself.
She likes it.
And in a second, we'll be halfway done with this episode. All right.
oh, we're done.
I have a bit of a twinkle in my eye in this episode. Okay. edit, adjust,
Oh, yeah, I completely forgot about that.
brightness, highlights, blacks.
There's one really good fight. It went all 3 rounds. It was like really like rock music. Like last second one of the guys got knocked. The last round? The last round? Yeah, no, like the last like 10 seconds of the last round. What? So it wasn't. Dude, I got cheated as well. This is like an insane.
Why can't I send it to the back? Align the page?
Yeah, so this is gonna be enough though. Everyone was counting.
Why can't I?
Everyone was counting out this guy right here. I saw it because he was the lightweight jumping up. And this guy was a former team member. So that's what. And Max Holloway was playing 10 for most of the night. And last 10 seconds, this guy was.
Layer. Why did that take so long to show up? That was crazy.
Family meeting?
Yeah, this was the last year.
Yo.
Family meeting?
Yep.
Heard.
1 second. Hey. And the guy he knocked out is known for being like a freaking.
Alright, thumbnail for tomorrow's episode is done. I want to change upload defaults. I want to change this. Okay. I guess we'll split this in two. I could do the other 30 minutes another time because there's a meeting, and
Like fishing or downtown.
I think the plan.
guess that works out. See you in 30 minutes. Yo, what's going on? We are still, right now we're dead in the middle of episode 185 of Keeping It Real. Like always, I'm your host. I'm in a little bit of a corner. The first part of this episode was filmed yesterday. The second part is being filmed right now. And I'm looking for a way to prop up this camera so that I don't have to hold it for the next 30 minutes consecutively. I'm also going to probably go grab my phone just so I can have... Okay. So, here we are, doing the thing. That looks good. That looks better. And this looks best. Alright, so let's check. Couldn't have been more than, 1-2 minutes that happened just now. So I'll just put 27 minutes on the timer, and once that's done, we'll be done. Let's point it like this so I can lay back. Oh. This is our last day in this Airbnb. We have to check out at 10, so that is coming up alarmingly fast. But I should be able to upload everything, get everything sorted before then. I just have 2 thumbnails to make, this Keeping It Real episode to upload and an Instagram reel to upload. And then, we'll be good. I'm interested, I guess, at what it might be like to return to keeping it real in my routine, because it was really hard for me to break out of it. I think I had a really good thing going with what I did every day, and going on this vacation, although it was a conscious choice, was still very scary. And now that I'm here and it's coming to an end in the next 2 or 3 days, I let's see. I'm excited, I guess, to return, but I'm also anxious because I have this thought in my head that returning and jumping back into what I do is gonna be hard. Maybe not so much like how hard it was in the first time I did it, but more so in like this different way that I'm not expecting and I'm not ready for, and I just don't like I anticipate that and I get scared because I don't want to fail. And you know, a listener or watcher is like, well, what does that even mean? And I don't know really. I guess it's maybe unhealthy for me to be worrying about failing if I don't have these strict expectations of myself. And there are quantifiable things, right, that I could say out loud right now. And so I will, just as an exercise. On the 3rd of July, when there's nothing else planned, no more pre-planned, you know, that's officially the end of vacation, the 3rd of July. I expect myself to make 1 hour long Keeping It Real episode, 1 10-minute vlog, 24 YouTube shorts, 2 Instagram reels. And I expect all of those to be published on July 3rd. And I also expect different things from each piece of media. For Keeping It Real, I expect to ditch the chair and ditch the table. And I expect to exercise for the entirety of that sit down. And I expect to buy a lav mic so that I can do so comfortably without worrying about audio input. I think that that's something I really believe would better the episode. And I've always been someone that is super competitive and I've always found joy in trying to hold conversation through intense physical exercise. So I just feel like if I was on the ground, on the mat, I could just, you know, for an hour, it'd be great to talk and just, you know, stretch. Like, I think that'd be fantastic. Next up, you have our 10-minute vlog. This one's tricky because when I return, I can't necessarily fulfill my wishes for this vlog as my semester in school has not started yet. But I expect, because in my mind, the 10-minute vlog is the core of the entire thing. I started with a vlog, and I have this intro for it. So we'll start there. For the 10-minute vlog, I expect myself to film 7 clips of me saying what the date is. I expect one of those clips to be utilized in the intro sequence of said vlog. Before said intro sequence, I expect to film 1 introductory clip with my nice Canon R5. And then after the introductory sequence, I expect a drone shot that I will have filmed on the 3rd as well, and a time lapse of me doing Keeping It Real that I will include as well. So, after that time lapse, I expect a clip of me walking. It'll be about 10 minutes long. And it's good to say it out loud, right? Because I think just now I was kind of like going back and forth on, you know, it should be this, it's supposed to be this, I want it to become this, so how do I have it do that? But putting it into words, I realize, okay, let's just keep it how it was. You already made a big change to Keeping It Real. You said you're going to ditch the table and the chair, and you're going to be, you know, physically moving throughout your 1 hour long Keeping It Real episode. So let's take a breath and keep the vlogs exactly as is. And that's what I'll do. So to complement this 10-minute clip that follows the intro sequence, of course, I will go on a walk. This will be a 1-mile walk, likely down the street I can't quite remember. But it's a winding street, and it is off Trailwood. There's 2 paths that I go on, and I will not be taking the one over the highway. I just believe, this is my prediction. It's not, do or die which path I take, but it is do or die that I do walk a mile. On the first leg of the mile, the first 10 minutes, the down before I come back, I will film 24 YouTube shorts. I'm going to mark off how many shorts I've done on my arm by making 12 marks for the first 12 and then making a cross through each mark for the next 12. I will be making an improvement on these shorts. I will be speaking in each short. I will be speaking in each short. It is something that has come to my attention that the lack of speaking and the lack of effort has impacted the quality of my shorts. Now, it'd be nice if I could connect my lav mic to this camera, because I have come to realize that this camera does film portrait mode. If you just rotate the camera, it knows that it's in portrait mode, and it does automatically swap, which is something that you'd think, honestly, my Canon R5s, as since it's lens included $5,500, it's more expensive, would do, or at least have the option to do, and it may, as I haven't Googled or searched thoroughly enough, but who knows. So all those shorts will have action. They'll have me speaking in it, and all those shorts will also contain a higher quality camera and higher quality audio. I will no longer be utilizing the DJI Action 4 Pro, unless, of course, it is raining or some sort of weather in which I cannot make use of this camera. On the second leg of the journey, continuing on the first leg, after my 24 shorts, I will then jump into 2 Instagram Reels. One where I will try to make my audience laugh, likely an egg and basket joke, although I did come up with a pretty fantastic joke on this trip that I'm very much proud of, and I'll tell it to you now. Wherever you go, you see a whole lot of First Baptist churches. There's like McDonald's, First Baptist Church, Wendy's, First Baptist Church. And, one of them's got to be second. That's the joke. So, a joke will be told to Instagram, and then after the joke, I will make use of the second, because there's always 2 things coming from the drone. This is Elijah.
Hi.
You mind if I do this? I don't care.
I don't mind.
Okay. So when the drone flies, it's 2 clips. The first is landscape, the second is portrait. And obviously, one's for landscape, one's for portrait. The landscape one goes in the 10-minute segment, as I already said, and then the portrait one will go on the second Instagram reel. After those, it's going to be about turnaround point. And I'll be by, I forget the name of the apartment complex, but then I'll turn around, and that's where those 7 dates come in. For example, today's July 3rd, 2025, 7 times. And then the recording button gets hit one more time, and it's a 10-minute long clip, and most likely I will finish before I reach home or finish as I reach home. Either one, then my camera work will be almost done for the day. Almost done for the day. Because I've created something whilst away from the computer out here. A new format. And I like it. I think it has potential. And because of which I am coming back to TikTok, which is a huge deal. Right now it's just Spotify, YouTube, and Instagram. But that doesn't make a lot of sense, especially for my goals. So each platform is going to have its own dedicated, thing, and then ideally each platform will be distributed over the other two platforms. The big three in my mind are TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Snapchat and Spotify are kind of satellites because Spotify, there should be a whole lot more than just Spotify. Spotify only serves the purpose of distributing the podcast. And you know what's funny? Spotify actually does have a shorts feature. I gotta go on the app and see if I can't find it. I don't know. It says it's in beta right now. I don't know if that means it's just like part of the UI for the Creator Studio or if it's
Mostly for music.
You scroll Spotify Reels?
Yeah, but not all the time. But it's mostly to show you like short little highlights of music.
Oh, maybe Elijah. Okay, well then I'm gonna ask Elijah if he can show me that on his Spotify app because I have to see it. I tried to upload a couple. I clicked together a couple reels because I thought this is probably a really good idea to get into this. If I have a podcast that's clippable and there's this new feature on this app, first come, early bird gets the worm type of deal. But I did not prevail. I don't remember what happened, but I just feel like I got stuck because it wouldn't upload or something. Because I remember I made the clip. Either way, that's not part of my. That's not part of the what will be done on July 3rd. On July 3rd, I will open up I already have the YouTube account. So I won't have to make a new YouTube account. It's called jackkadis. It's actually listed at the bottom of my homepage. If you go to this channel's homepage, it's listed at the bottom as channels. So it is connected directly to this channel in some way. I'm not sure how because I don't think I use the same email, but I think there is some feature on YouTube. I just know that when I scroll to the bottom of this channel on the homepage, as if I were a visitor, I see that channel. And it's going to feel really good to start adding one of these reels to that, or one of the shorts that I make to that channel every day because I made that channel as sort of a spin-off. I was going to do 2 different podcasts at the same time. It was called the JackKadis Show. And I still might transfer that to keeping it real. I might do that. I might do that. I think that's probably a good idea. I'll have to think about that some more, but it just makes sense to have my name in the title. Keeping it real is pretty crowded, pretty flooded. It's just 3 words that are free use for anyone, but no one's going to be out there typing my name. And what bothers me a lot is if you go on Google and you search my name, I am still not the first person that comes up. I'm not even the second, I'm the third. And with the amount of stuff that I have spammed the World Wide Web with, it's almost insulting. The guy in first place, the jackkadis in first place, he does photography, and he hasn't updated his website since I was like 12, 11 years old. Like, I've been seeing him for forever, and it's the same damn pictures, it's a black and white website, and there's not even any pictures of himself, and it's like, come on. Like, what are we doing here? Like what are we doing here? The day that when you go out and just Google, an unbiased Google on a random computer, and you type my name, and I'm actually the first that comes out, will be a very big victory for me. These are the small things that you people might not think about, but I really, really need to beat that guy because I think he's based in like Ohio or something. I thought about sending him an email a couple of times, and I should do that. I just don't. How famous of a photographer can you be? Like I've been at this every single day for over a year, and he probably takes. Well, I'm sure he takes pictures every day, but it's just. He must have, I don't know. It's an interesting mix in the internet of, how much is actually algorithm how much of the algorithm actually comes from our in-person interactions. Interesting to think about. Then below him is just some dude's LinkedIn profile. He's got white hair, white mustache, jackkadis. I forget what he does, but he beat me, so unacceptable. Where was I? I was talking about. Yeah, but the YouTube account is not primary. This new piece of media, it's short form, it's portrait, and it is proprietary to TikTok, which I will also not be having to make a new account for, as TikTok. All 3 of these accounts are already made. I already have a spare Instagram, a spare YouTube. And a main TikTok, and that's where these will be going. I don't really believe in I'm not going to go back and delete any of the things that I've posted on these accounts because at one point I was trying to make these accounts work, but then obviously I stopped. And I'm not going to go back and delete them all or make a new account. I think like the history of someone's like grind is incredibly important, and it's kind of amazing. Like if you people go back on this channel, you will see some wildly different videos as you go back month and month and month and month and month, and a lot of them you never pass 10 views, but I put a lot of effort into them, and a lot of them I didn't put too much effort into, and they somehow flew past 100 views, but nothing ever gets deleted. I hate to delete. Deleting it's like not really up to you. Like you should think to yourself, because you're gonna be old one day, and you're gonna wish you didn't delete it. I just know that for a fact. When you're old, you're gonna be like, oh my god, I deleted. Like once I lost, not by choice, I lost like a ton of pictures in my iCloud when I was young, like a solid 3-year chunk of screenshots and pictures and videos, and that probably changed my life. I mean, think of all the moments of nostalgia and things that I would realize, and what I might see through my eyes if I still had those pictures and went back and looked at them from time to time. So, the TikTok needs a profile picture and a bio, or maybe not a bio, but it needs a profile picture. I'd like to change my name on TikTok if I can, because right now it's just a string of characters. The Instagram's actually good. The problem is I believe it's called the JLK show, but we can keep it like that. That don't really matter. The names are not important here, as long as they're related to me in some way. That's why the TikTok one's getting changed. So all accounts are pretty much primed and ready to go. The actual media that's going on these accounts is fast-paced. I change my voice. I stretch it a bit to make it more like I'm talking to a young person, in which I'm trying desperately to engage. So it sounds more drawn out, and I don't know how else to describe it other than engaging. I spend a lot of time on the internet, and I've just simply realized that some things pull audiences in more than others, and as much as you want to push these things away and think I'm just going to do my own thing, at a certain point you start to come to the realization that you are individual, and you will still be doing your own thing, even with colorful thumbnails. I didn't do thumbnails for the longest time. Even with short, when I started this, I was against short form content. You got to think of all the jumps that I've made to get to where I am. So it's scripted, and I use an engaging voice. So for example, a video might start out like, today we got to the Grand Canyon, like that. And then it'll cut to the next, and the cut, so I'm using that voice and that tone and that cadence for the entirety of the video. It's very palpable and predictable. And about every 2 to 3 seconds, there are B-roll clips. 3 of them exactly smushed together. So B-roll of one thing, B-roll of 2 thing, B-roll of 3 thing, all in one sequence, cut back to speaker. I try to make the B-roll colorful. I try to make it make sense. Each grouping of 3 is kind of the same setting or object, and I think it creates this colorful, jumpy video that, when I've been asking around feedback-wise, has gotten some positive notes. Some, hey, that was engaging. That was brain rot, like stuff that you want to hear. So it's getting its own account. I'm detaching it from what I do now, because I honestly, I cannot stress this enough. I think what I've built now and what I do now on Instagram and YouTube is so deeply important to what I do as a person. So I want to improve, branch out, and make more, and this trip helped me realize that, and this is the way that feels most right in this moment to do it. So
tune in, 2 weeks from now when I turn the camera on and say, I was wrong. That's just kind of, we'll see. So that is, that has a system, I think, it might actually not. It might actually, because what I was doing was, okay, I'm hatching. So what I was doing was, I've been getting out of the car every time we stop at the gas station and filming my clips. Now I've been scripting it too, and my system was, now keep in mind I haven't been doing everything I've spoken about up until this point. I haven't been doing because I've scheduled it out and planned for this vacation. So I want this to succeed, which means I have to be realistic. And realistically, when you set yourself a goal that's very open-ended, like I can do this at any point in my day, you end up with situations like, honestly, what happened 2 days ago, where I was just like, woke up, didn't get around to editing yesterday's thing that I made, the new piece of media. My schedule was in the morning script, throughout the day shoot, and then sleep, and then the next morning edit, and then it's done. And right after you finish the edit from yesterday's, you jump into the script for today's, repeat. And 2 days ago, I found myself, I'd hop on the computer, do some work, check around accounts, and, my drive was just totally not, when I started, I was so motivated. And then I started finding a routine, and then I was like, wait, I'm on vacation, I don't even want to do this, because I don't have to do this. I could hear my friends talking in the other room, and I just left it. So, to summarize, we're going to actually set some ground rules for what it means to So this is what we're going to do. It's going to be 5 different segments of me speaking to the camera. Each segment has 2 different clips. Each clip is 1 line in the script. The first segment, third segment, and 5th segment will all come from the same block of real life time, and that will be a 1-mile run. So I'm going to be running and speaking to the camera. The second segment and the 4th segment will be different. Second will be, I will have a book held up on the right side of my head. Now keep in mind these are shot with a fisheye. These use the Action 4 Pro. I find that it compresses to Instagram quite nicely. Not so much YouTube, but Instagram, the colors come across well, the audio. I'm a big fan of the audio post-processing that DJI does in their Action camera. I love it. It's like you don't even need a mic. Like this doesn't sound too great because it's a Canon camera and it's not built for video audio. It's it's built for pictures. It's just kind of how it is. Besides the point. The 4th segment will be me doing my banking, my budgeting, my finances. So I'll have a pen like this and paper like this, and I'll somehow get that good angle. And of course, for each segment, there will be 3 clips of B-roll. And that B-roll, I guess, will be of things around my house. I often have the thought there's so many cool things to shoot all the time, and I just walk past them. So around my house, I'll collect 5 different segments worth of B-roll, which is 15 clips total from this camera. And then that goes live on TikTok, and I do that every day. And I guess it is scripted. Or I feel like a freestyle would be better. Scripting is too much energy. Not scripted. Freestyle. This video is coming to an end, this Keeping It Real episode. So, to finish cap this off, the last requirement is that all YouTube Shorts will now have a place on a third, which needs to still be made, Instagram account, and a second, which still needs to be made, TikTok account. And both Instagram Reels will now have its own place on its own YouTube account, the third YouTube account, which needs to be made, and the third TikTok account, which needs to be made. So that means I will have 3 YouTube accounts to now manage, 3 Instagram accounts to manage, 3 TikTok accounts to manage. Each platform will have its own unique primary account, and then the 2 accounts below per platform will be echo chambers for both other platforms. I'll see you in Raleigh. Peace.